Hey, guess what's happening on this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with your friend and host, Oscar Camejo.
What's going on, good people? Guess what? I'm recording this bonus episode the day before my 50th birthday. I'm so excited, y'all. I feel so energetic. I feel so alive. I feel more focused now than I've ever been in my whole life. No joke. I'm telling you the truth. You know, turning 50 seems so surreal. I've been taking a look over my life over this last couple weeks and so forth, and I can't help but to be grateful to God Almighty that I made it to the big 50. So, yes, I've joined the 50 and above crowd, folks, and I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to live it. I'm excited to experience it. You know, they say life is short, so we might as well make the most of it. What a true statement. You know, like so many people, I've experienced lots of ups and downs in my 50 years on this here planet. Maybe one day I'll write a memoir about my experiences and how I handle, certain setbacks in detail. I don't know. We'll see. If you want me to write a memoir, write a book, let me know. Write in. Tell me about it. You know, so for me, what better way to celebrate my 50 years of life than by doing something I'm passionate about? When I started this podcast, it started really as a TikTok video. And I was just sharing my story about, reversing type 2 diabetes, losing weight, and bouncing back from health challenges. And I'm passionate about helping people. And ever since then, from the TikTok to this podcast and just other things that I do on social media, I'm just passionate about it. So, what better way to celebrate my 50th birthday than by helping people live better and bounce back from whatever may be holding them back from pursuing their dreams and aspirations? So, that's why I wanted to record this bonus episode because, helping people to bounce back better is something that I'm realizing more and more each day that I love to do. We all go through situations. We all go through ups and downs. We go through setbacks and just things that happen in life that are unexpected. But I want to encourage you today in this bonus episode, this short bonus episode. I want to encourage you to turn your setbacks into setups. It all depends on how you look at it, my friend. So stick around to hear the rest of today's episode because you're going to learn how to handle setbacks. Yeah, I mean, those things that try to hold you back and keep you from pursuing your best life. And you're also going to receive some of my recommendations for turning your setbacks into opportunities to grow and become a better version of yourself. If I can do it, you can too, my friend. So stick around to hear the rest of today's episode. Let's go. Welcome to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo. My goal is to help diabetics and non-diabetics, of course, make lifestyle changes to reverse and prevent type 2 diabetes. Folks, I used to have type 2 diabetes and I was able to reverse it. I was 268 pounds and back in August 2020, I was sent to the hospital and it was clear that I needed to lose weight because what was going on with my health was a major setback. And my overconsumption of food and sugary drinks and all kinds of other things were negatively impacting my health. And yes, I experienced that setback. I also experienced relationship setbacks, financial setbacks, just different things were going on at different times of my life. And one thing is for sure, I've learned how to turn my setbacks into setups, but it wasn't easy. As a matter of fact, there were times where things looked really bleak and I wasn't sure what tomorrow was going to bring or if I was going to make it to tomorrow. And in your situation, you may be dealing with that right now. Maybe you have your own story to tell, of triumphs and setbacks and maybe some failures and defeats that you've experienced in your life. But I want to encourage you to keep moving forward. My dad used to tell me, my dad is he's Oscar Senior. He's since passed away. He died in 2018, the day after Father's Day. And he used to always say this to me in Spanish. My dad was Afro-Cuban, so I'm part Cuban, and he used to always have these wise sayings, but one that really stood out to me, and I've adopted this in my own personal life. He used to always say, "Siempre sigue adelante." That means always keep moving forward. So that's a loose translation, but basically, my dad used to always say, always keep moving, always look forward, always keep pursuing better. And so, with that, that lesson, it helped me to navigate through certain unexpected situations in life. And I am so glad for my dad, aka Paco. That was his nickname. Paco taught me a lot, man, and I miss him to this day. I miss his wisdom, but he left me with a legacy that was worth more than jewelry, worth more than money. It was a legacy of peace and how to pursue life to the fullest, how to love people, how to be at peace with people, and how to walk with wisdom, how to use wisdom. And so I'm grateful for my dad. So as you go through life and you go through your setbacks, I want you to keep Paco's advice in mind. Siempre sigue adelante. Always, always, always keep moving forward. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines a setback as a slowing of progress, a temporary defeat. I'm pretty sure you can think of a situation in your life where your progress might have been slowed down for whatever reason, or maybe you experienced what felt like a major defeat. Think back to how you handled that experience and what was the fallout, what actually happened. Maybe it was a divorce, perhaps it was a recent breakup, an unexpected financial obligation, maybe it was a health diagnosis. What was your situation? How did you handle it? Maybe you're going through it right now and you really don't know what's going to be the outcome. I know I talk a lot about nutrition and health, fitness on this podcast, but I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about our total life health, if you will, our mental health, our spiritual health, our physical health, of course. Because a lot of us, we go through stuff and we may think that sometimes we're defeated because of what's going on. But I want you to be encouraged today. There is an illustration that I was thinking about as I was preparing for this podcast episode. When you have a ball, let's say a rubber ball, it could be, let's say, a basketball, maybe a tennis ball, even a racquetball. Or how about those little rubber balls that kids play with? They bounce it, and the harder they throw it on the ground or at a wall, the harder or higher or further or faster that ball will bounce. A ball bounces higher depending on the amount of force or effort applied to it, right? I'm not getting into physics. I didn't do too well in physics. Matter of fact, I don't even think I took physics. Anyway, in the same way, the amount of consistent effort you apply to bouncing back from your situation can determine your success and whether you have lasting success. Now, think for a moment. When I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I had a choice to make. I could have just sat back and just accepted the woe is me diagnosis and be like, oh, well, I guess this is it for me, and just, not put forth any effort to turn my life around, to turn my health around, changing my eating habits, my physical exercise. I could have just, threw in the towel. But there was enough gusto in me that I learned from Paco and my mom. My mom is a powerhouse, man. Always has been in my life. But it was enough in me to bounce back. You see, in your situation, it may be bleak, it may be dark, but I want you to consider that this is not the end, my friend. What you're going through right now is not the end. It doesn't have to be the end. You may have gone through a breakup. You may have gone through a divorce, separation. You may be going through a really tough financial season right now in your life. And you're just like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Am I going to make it through this situation? Yes, you can. It's all up to you. I want you to put forth as much effort as you can. Because you see, little to no effort equals little to no lasting results. But put forth maximum effort to bounce back, my friend, because you can. I believe you can. I believe you can, but you have to examine your own thought process when it comes to your situation. How do you typically perceive setbacks? How do you perceive your current situation? Do you see it as temporary, or do you feel like, oh man, this is just permanent? I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. This is a wrap. And I get it. And I want to be sensitive to people who may have been diagnosed with a terminal illness. And you're like, yeah, well, Oscar, for me, they're saying that it's a wrap, and I want to be sensitive to you and your situation or to your loved one's situation. I don't have the answer to everything, everybody. My friend, I don't, but I do want to encourage you. I've heard of miraculous things happening in people's lives when they put their faith and trust in God and they put forth effort to do whatever they need to do in a practical sense to turn their health around. So don't give up, don't cave in and quit. Just because the sun looks like it's going down in your situation doesn't mean that you won't have a tomorrow. Keep pursuing tomorrow with the passion. Because yes, you've been given life. And today, I don't want you to give up on life. Life may be full of disappointments, my friend, but don't disappoint yourself by giving up on life. Okay? So look at setbacks as opportunities designed to set you up to experience much, much better. Despite the pain, despite the hurt, despite the disappointment, the sadness, the shock, the awe of what's going on. My friend, I want you to look at this setback that you're going through as an opportunity designed to set you up to experience better. Don't just throw in the towel. Maybe you've had back-to-back issues going on in your life and you're like, Oscar, man, I don't know. There's something about taking a step forward and continuing to move forward. Like my dad used to say, just one more day, one more effort. You never know what the outcome can be. You could be one step away from experiencing breakthrough in your situation. So don't give up. It's not the end until it's the end, my friend. So change your mentality. And I want to talk to you for a brief moment about perception and how we perceive our situations. You see, perception plays a major role in how we approach transformation, because this is what bouncing back is all about. It's transforming our current situation in order for us to experience a better situation. It could be health, like in my situation. It could be relationship, like in my situation. Yes, I've been through a divorce twice. It was unexpected. I went through the hurt. I went through the pain. I went through the disappointment, but my whole life was transformed because I looked at all those situations, even in the darkest times. I looked at them as opportunities to set me up to experience something better. So you see, if we perceive that a situation is way too overwhelming for us to overcome and handle, then to be honest, it's likely we won't overcome it. If we adopt a defeatist mentality right off the rip, then we already lost the battle. Change your perception. There's a poem by a gentleman. He's a late 19th century poet. His name was Walter D. Wintle. He wrote a poem called The Thinking Poem. As you hear this poem, I want you to think about your situation and I want you to be encouraged. And after that, I'm going to share with you some tips on how to bounce back better. So here we go. Thinking by Walter D. Wintle. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you lost. For out in the world we find success begins with the fellow's will. It's all in a state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late, the man who wins is the one who thinks he can. Man, that's a powerful, powerful poem. So, perception. How do you perceive your setbacks? How do you perceive those situations that are designed to hold you back? Could be again, a relationship. It could be not just a relationship with a spouse, but a parent, a friend, another family member, your financial situation, your health. So here's something that I want to leave you with. And this is how to bounce back better. Number one, accept self-love. You got to learn to love yourself because you're worth loving. Yeah, you may feel worthless sometimes. You may feel defeated sometimes. And sometimes you may look in the mirror like I did at one point. I hated how I looked and it really affected my thinking. I'm generally a positive person, but there was a period in my life where Mr. O positive in my thinking, I was negative, man. I had a negative perception of myself and it was hard to love myself because I had looked at my health and looked at my finances and I was like, man, what's going on? So I want you to accept that you're worth loving, my friend. Accept self-love. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. I want the best for you. You will make it through this situation. Number two, I want you to prioritize self-care. You see, when you accept that you're worth loving and you love yourself, you will prioritize self-care. I'm talking about your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, and so forth. Because guess what, folks? Uh, a lot of times we get so busy that we don't take care of ourselves physically, we don't take care of our mental health, and we don't take care of our spiritual health. We just kind of keep going on and on and on and go through the motions and we suffer. And sometimes we may be in a situation of depression, sadness, and you just feel very lethargic. And it's like, man, I don't want to keep going. I just want to just kind of coast. So it affects, your health and what you eat and your fitness. So I want you to make it a priority that you will, my friend, take care of yourself. There's no excuses from here on out. I want you to open the curtains, let the light in, prioritize you. Maybe you're so busy taking care of other people, so busy at work that you neglect yourself. Stop doing that. Prioritize you for once. Okay. That's not selfish to love yourself. It's not selfish to prioritize you because God gave you this life. Yes, so you can be a blessing to other people, but He didn't give you this life for you to not take care of it. So when it comes to your physical health, I'm talking about nutrition, what you put in your body. Yes, I'm going to harp on that. That's my area of focus. I want you to focus on your nutrition, eating better, giving your body what it needs versus what it wants right now. Okay. I want you to focus on prioritizing your health when it comes to your fitness. Get out and move. Get up from the computer. Uh, get off social media. Do some more walking. I know there may be some challenges that people have because of, some physical limitations, but there's some exercises you can do even when you're sitting down. You don't have to join a gym per se. You don't have to go skydiving, and do all these extreme sports. But I do want you to get into a habit of being more physically fit. And you can do it, my folks. If you're laid up in the bed, because you're going through some challenges, even if you have to work your fingers and your toes, your legs, I want you to prioritize your self care. All right. I love you and I want you to love yourself enough to prioritize your self care. Mental health. A lot of people struggle in their soul, in their mind, their will, and their emotions. And they're dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, depression, um, uh, focusing issues, memory fog, and all kinds of things. So I recommend that you get some help. Whether it's just talking to somebody, that doesn't mean, going to see a therapist or even a psychologist doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It means that you're prioritizing yourself and your mental health. That's very important, folks. You have to. Stress is taking people out. And I refuse to live a life of experiencing worry and all this negative stress. And it's just, the body and the mind can handle but so much. And so I want you to, as well as deal with your mental health, consider your spiritual health. I'm not trying to preach at you, but I know through my darkest times, when I was going through my situations, I had to learn to lean on and trust God. I started looking at God as my father, my heavenly father. I believe in what the Bible says, and so the more I started looking at God as my father, the more I realized that he wants nothing but the best for me. And the same thing with you. Again, I don't know what your belief systems are, but I know the God that I serve. He is my father. He wants the best for you and I. He loves us so much that he wants us to prioritize our spiritual health and also not neglect our physical health and our mental health. The Bible talks a lot about all of these different areas. It's so interesting that people overlook the fact that God wants us to be healthy in our bodies as well. I mean, there's parameters, there's different things that are throughout the Bible that talk about foods to eat and why to eat it. It wasn't just because of religious reasons; it was for health reasons. There's a dude in the Bible named Daniel. He decided, hey, I'm going to honor God, and I'm going to honor God by taking care of my body, and I'm not going to eat certain things because I want to, prove that God is worth following and serving. And so today we call it the Daniel fast. It's very important. It's very enlightening what happened. Daniel and his cohorts of friends went on this fast, and they started to look better, feel better, and yeah, and they adopted it as a way of life. So in any case, prioritize your self-care. Again, that's your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. Okay. Number three of how to bounce back better. So remember, number one was self-care. Number two was, no, excuse me. Number one was accept self-love. Number two was prioritize self-care. Number three now is pursue transformation. I want you to pursue it like a bulldog. I want you to be tenacious about transforming your life. I want you to become a better version of yourself, not because of anybody else, but do it for you. Have a willingness to change and turn your life around, because transformation, folks, people may not see it. They may not see the tiny things that you're doing, or the small efforts that you make to turn your life around. But it doesn't matter what other people see. Do it for you. Change is not change until you've changed. you know, a mentor of mine used to say that. Change is not change until you change. So pursue transformation, folks. Don't give up, don't cave in, but you can turn your situation around. I just need you to pursue it. Things are not just going to happen just magically. You're going to have to put forth some effort. And while you're putting forth effort, while you're pursuing transformation, keep the end in mind. A sculptor, when he or she is crafting a statue, all they have is this chunk of clay, or this huge rock that has no specific form to it, or is not chiseled yet. But he or she grabs his tool, but before they start working on chiseling and sculpting this formation, what they do is visualize what they are going to create. So they visualize their creation ahead of time. And Michelangelo, when he sculpted the statue of David, I forgot how many years it took him. He had this big stone, and he would just look at it every day. And he actually saw and visualized and envisioned the statue of David when it was just in its raw form. And so, as you pursue transformation, I want you to begin dreaming about, what does life look like after this setback, or despite this setback. You know, happy, joyful. I'm physically fit. I'm emotionally healthy. I'm physically healthy. I am a mindful eater. I watch the things that I put in my body. I'm down to a healthy weight, and I feel good. I'm energetic. Start envisioning that transformation ahead of time. And number 4, folks, is going to require you to be patient. So, how to bounce back better? Be patient. Transformation does take time. Transformation requires consistency. Transformation requires a plan. So, be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient. I know sometimes we want things to turn around like quick, fast, in a hurry, but my friend, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't always work like that. So be patient. You'll get there. Don't give up. Don't cave in. Don't quit. Sometimes we have to exercise patience. I know 2022 was my year of focusing on 2 main things, and that was patience and joy. And I'm still pursuing that. Because, sometimes we want immediate results. And sometimes when we don't have the immediate results, or things don't turn out the way that we want, we get disappointed, and we experience sadness and whatnot, and we don't experience joy. So be patient. And the last thing is number 5, uh, pursue peace. There's nothing better than having a peace of mind as you go through life, as you experience certain setbacks. That doesn't mean you won't experience stress at times, but I want you to pursue peace. Always, always, always pursue peace. Eliminate things from your life that are causing you stress, that are causing you worry and anxiety. Handle your situations, folks, with peace. Pursue peace. If that means going out for a walk more often, clearing your mind. Some people like taking drives. Some people like listening to music. Some people like meditating. Some people like meditating on Bible verses. Some people like praying. The point is, pursue peace with a passion. Because you know what, folks? We can be the wealthiest person in the world. We can even be the healthiest person. But if we don't have peace of mind, it will affect everything else. So, how to bounce back better? Go over it again. Number 1, accept self-love. Number 2, prioritize self-care. Number 3, pursue transformation. Number 4, be patient. And number 5, pursue peace. Well, that's it, my friend, for today in this bonus episode. Thank you for celebrating my 50th birthday. I love you all so much. And I want to hear from you all. Write in sometimes if you have questions or rate the show. Let me know how you're enjoying the show. Let me know of some things that you may want me to talk about. And I read my emails often. If you follow me on social media, you can follow me. I have the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle community, which I want you to join. Definitely join and let's talk, man. Let's share some ideas. I have some things that I have in the works that I'm going to be sharing very, very soon when it comes to outdoors and hiking. So, am I ready to share it right now? It'll come. It'll come. But it does involve hiking and organizing group hikes. There you have it. Um, if you're interested in hiking and you live here in the Atlanta area, hit me up. Let me know. I have some things in the works that I think you're gonna like, and hopefully I can take this thing nationally with the hike stuff. And anyway, so I'm here rambling because I'm just excited and I have a lot to share. But I had promised that this was going to be a bonus episode that was going to be short. So, my friend, as always, you know how I always like to end my podcast episode. I want you to stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can, my friend. Yes, you can. I just did a whole episode about it. So yes, you can, my friend. Bounce back. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or a comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabeteslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.